After Bailey Changqing left the office, ZHANG sat in a chair with a particularly solemn expression. The crisis level of Tianhai City this time is much higher than he imagined. The death of a captain-level figure was the first since the end of the world, and now it is only half a year away from the end of the world. Even if Blizzard City is full of talented people, it can't withstand such consumption. An idea that had long occurred to him emerged again at this time. ZHANG crossed his hands and looked at the Blizzard City covered with snow outside the window. He murmured to himself, "It is difficult to maintain the stability of the Jiangnan region for a long time, relying solely on the power of Blizzard City. It seems that we have to rely on the power of various places." He used the communicator to call his secretary, Lan Xincheng, in. "Commander, what do you want?" "Xincheng, issue a notice in my name immediately. The target is all forces of a certain scale in the entire Jiangnan region. Tell them that in 10 days I will hold a meeting of mutants in the entire Jiangnan region in Blizzard City. Please be sure to come and participate. If someone does not obey, then there is no need for him to exist. Tianhai City." After the Battle of Snow Worship Cult, the whole city fell into silence. As for Zhang Yi, he has been observing something recently. That is Yang Mi, who used Ice Soul to awaken superpowers. Once Yuan Kongye died, it was unknown what changes would occur to the mutants who used Ice Souls to awaken superpowers. Zhang Yi still has 2 Ice Souls in his hands. These 2 Ice Souls can create 2 mutants. If Yang Mi did not have any adverse reactions due to Yuan Kongye's death, then he would consider giving the 2 Ice Souls to Zhou Care and others. After all, in the end times, having an extra ability to save lives would be of great help to both oneself and the team. So Zhang Yi called Yang Xin, Zhou Care, and Lu Keiran to his room. He expressed his meaning in the most tactful way possible. "Now I have confirmed that Ice Soul can still play a role after Yuan Kongye's death. Now I still have 2 Ice Soul in my hand, which can be used by you. But there are 3 of you, and there are only 2 Ice Soul. You are all very important to me, and I don't want to favor one over the other. So how to distribute it is up to you to decide. Yang Xin is a think tank and a top hacker. Lu Keiran is a mechanical engineer. Zhou Care is a doctor. All 3 of them are very valuable to him. Zhang Yi doesn't want to ignore anyone and cause dissatisfaction in their hearts. So he simply let the 3 women decide how to distribute it." Hearing Zhang Yi's words, Lu Keiran and Zhou Care showed excitement in their eyes. Of course, they are eager to obtain superpowers and become more useful people. After all, after seeing the extraordinary abilities of the mutants, it would be a lie to say that they are not envious. Only Yang Xin said calmly, "No, I give up. Leave the opportunity to the 2 of them." Zhang Yi and the other 2 were a little surprised. This is a treasure that everyone wants in the end times. "Yang Xin actually gave up just like that?" Yang Xin explained. "My brain is the best superpower. You need its power more than me, so I'll leave it to you." Zhang Yi thought for a while and nodded. He felt that Yang Xin was right. Yang Xin's brain is the best ability. She has been paralyzed for many years and has become accustomed to relying on her brain to act. As a logistics player, she probably won't be able to use her superpowers. On the contrary, Zhou Care and Lu Keiran's desire for superpowers was written on their faces. So Yang Xin generously gave them the opportunity. Lu Keiran looked at Yang Xin, couldn't help but ask, Xin, have you thought it through?" Yang Xin smiled and shook her head. "I have thought it through. You don't have to worry about me. Go get the superpowers you want." A gentle look flashed in her eyes. Seeing this, Lu Keiran and Zhou Care no longer insisted. They looked at the wooden box in Zhang Yi's hand with fiery eyes. Zhang Yi opened the wooden box and showed the 2 silver-white Ice Souls in front of them. "You all know how to use it. Just put it on the center of your eyebrows," Zhang Yi said, staring at the 2 of them seriously. "This is to prevent their bodies from having any abnormal changes beyond their control." Lu Keiran and Zhou Care excitedly took the Ice Soul. The thing was cold and soft to the touch, and it felt like a living thing. The two pressed the ice soul on the center of their eyebrows, and soon it merged into their heads. Zhang Yi and Yang Xin waited nervously and expectantly on the side. The process of the two people fusing the ice soul was very fast. Their physical fitness was relatively good, so they were not as uncomfortable as Yang Mi at the beginning. But even so, they still lay on Zhang Yi's bed and let their bodies accept this foreign thing. Zhang Yi sat on the chair, patiently waiting for their bodies to change. After more than 10 minutes, Lu Karen was the first to return to normal. She was sweating profusely, and fine beads of sweat covered her neck, arms, and chest as if she had just finished a 10-kilometer marathon. There was no change in her body, but Zhang Yi felt that her eyes seemed brighter, like a black shining diamond. "How is it? Did it succeed?" Zhang Yi asked curiously, leaning forward. Lu Karen gasped for breath, and it took a long time for her to speak. She gave Zhang Yi an affirmative look and said with excitement, "Brother, I have successfully awakened my superpowers." When a person gains superpowers, it is as if an extra arm or finger has grown on the body. It appears so abruptly, and the superpowers understand the superpowers just like they understand their own bodies, and they know very well how it works. Under the expectant eyes of Zhang Yi and Yang Xin, Lu Karen explained her ability. She took a spoon from the table, and then in front of the two people, without using any physical force, she quickly bent the spoon down. "My ability is related to metal and machinery. It seems that I can control the metal that my body touches." Lu Karen's eyes were shining, and she clenched her fists and said excitedly, "This is great! With this ability, I can create many powerful weapons in the future." Zhang Yi held his chin and asked in a deep voice, "In other words, your ability is related to machinery. Can you improve the performance of weapons?" Lu Karen answered without hesitation, "Of course." She looked at the spoon in her hand and said with a smile, "With this ability, I can perfectly grasp every detail of the weapon, adjust the weapon to the best performance. Not only weapons, all mechanical creations will be transformed into the most perfect form in my hands." Zhang Yi smiled and said, "That's great! Your ability is not separated from your job as a mechanic. Help me strengthen all those guns." "Okay, make sure to complete the task." Lu Karen smiled, his face full of unstoppable excitement. "By the way, boss, please give my ability a name," Lu Karen suddenly said. Zhang Yi smiled and said, "This is your own ability. You should name it yourself, right?" Who knew that Lu Karen looked at Zhang Yi very seriously and said solemnly, "My life was saved by the boss, and my superpowers were also given by the boss. So my superpowers should also be named by you, the boss." Zhang Yi understood that Lu Karen was expressing her gratitude and loyalty to Zhang Yi. He nodded, and after thinking carefully for a while, he said, "Since your ability is to operate machinery, why not call it Divine Machine Control?" Lu Karen liked this name very much. Her eyes were sparkling, and she kept reciting this name. "Divine Machine Control. This name is good. I will also be a superpower in the future." Zhang Yi and Yang Xin looked at Lu Karen with a smile. The two of them were already thinking about how to maximize Lu Karen's superpowers. At this time, Zhou Care also returned to normal, but she sweated more than Lu Karen, so that her whole body was wet and her skin was